What's up, Kris Krohn here. Welcome to the Have It All podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about probably one of the most important questions, where motivation comes from. There's a lot of people that say, wow, Kris, you got a lot of money. If I want to have a lot of money, how do you do that? And they're surprised when, instead of going into techniques, talking about business, talking about real estate, I tell them that money is actually an energy. And money and opportunity respond to your energy. It responds to motivation. Can you imagine trying to become, for example, a multimillionaire while you've got a 0 out of 10 motivation? You just want to lie home in bed every single day, eating ice cream, triple chocolate, whatever, fudge brownie, and then, basically just Netflix binge. Because, by the way, there's people out there that do that. The only kind of binging that is okay in my book is Kris Krohn binging. On good content, just like reading good books that is designed to help elevate your life. So in a moment, you're actually gonna watch me go into my sales office, with a bunch of newer salespeople, and I'm going to explain to them the 4 tenets of where motivation comes from. And you're gonna see me do this with a different kind of energy that you would normally see here on this podcast. And the reason why I want to give you as the voyeur the sneak peek in on what that conversation looks like is because these individuals literally have the power to double, triple, quadruple their income. And what they don't understand is that it's based on how they feel. And they don't understand that feeling promotes motivation. A lot of people are like, man, Kris, it seems like you've got motivation for days. And in truth, there was a time in my life when I was deeply depressed, years in fact, and I didn't have this energy. I'll tell you that today, just about every day, I get comments on my social media where someone says, will you just calm the freak down, dude? What are you on? Are you on caffeine? And no, I don't do caffeine other than a little bit of pre in my workout. This energy, it is all created. And in this little sneak peek, I'm gonna reveal what's really going on in my life, how much money I'm making, just literally last week alone, how much I increased my net worth by, and that it all comes down to this conversation of motivation and where it actually comes from. Which means that your listening experience today, sure, could I tell you how to make millions of dollars in real estate or business, or even how to have a healthier life or a healthier relationship, but at the root of all of those, they're connected by an idea on energy. And I'm going to show you how to manipulate your own energy today so that you can live the most powerful life you possibly can, so that you truly can have it all. And in the end, I'm going to share with you my favorite hack. It's one little secret I do every single day that amps up my energy so that I'm ready. And if you're ready to live your fullest, have it all life, check this out. Let me ask you, how many of you have ever suffered internally from a bad attitude? How many of you have ever felt that, right? Every single person in this room knows what it's like. By the way, how many of you eventually got over it? Raise your hand if you got over it. How many of you are still in it? How many of you are sometimes still in it? Should see just about every hand on that one, because you all be beasts. Your numbers would be beastly if it weren't the case. There are different levels of attitude, yes or no? Yes. And we all know what it feels like to deal with a shitty attitude, yes? And by the way, you can suffer from that for how long? Forever until what? When it actually changes, what actually happened that shifted you out of it? What did it?
A mindset shift.
It was a decision. Everyone thinks that transformation, every time I do transformation with people, they walk away, there's tears, there's joy, there's this oh my gosh, this changed my whole life. How did you do that? Well, I've committed my life to understanding transformation. And I could spend literally 4 weeks teaching you all the antics of transformation, but I can boil it all down to this 1 minute. At the end of the day, when it happens, it was only getting the person to make a different choice. That's all it is. That's all it is. My biggest victory moments I think that I've ever experienced in doing breakthrough with people is when I'm working with someone who has dealt with sexual abuse. These people will take their sexual abuse to their grave, most of them. They will be standoffish. They will be hurt because of how they were mistreated. They will be disconnected, and their entire life will look that way. So for me, the biggest victory on the planet is when you have someone who is sick and tired of their sexual abuse from such a long time ago that they finally say, I'm ready to snap. And that doesn't mean break. I mean break through. I mean, I want to be done with this. And some of my, like in my life, some of the greatest honors have been there when someone that has dealt with that level of trauma says, I'm done. And guess what? It's not 100 episodes of therapy that gets them through it. It's not living with the pain for a long period of time. It's not rehashing it. It's not feeling anger towards the perpetrator. The moment it ends is when? When they decide they're done. So here's the thing about attitude. There are levels of attitude. Right now, Zion was displaying a level of attitude. By the way, Zion, did it push you? Yeah. Did it rock your world? Yeah. Was it hard? I'm going to tell you something. Zion has a story in his head of how long he can sustain that before he has to default to a lower energy. You do. We all do. If you were to choose this week to go into your absolute craziest, most amazing, best energy yet, if it really pushed you so far outside of your comfort zone, you'd be only able to sustain it for a certain period of time before you'd have to go back to the way things normally are. But you want to know how to become a freaking beast in life. You want to know how to create the most sick, amazing results. It's you reach for the highest level of attitude and then you challenge yourself to sustain it. For how long? Forever. You go to a level and you say, I never snap back. I'm not elastic. I'm not a rubber band. You want to know what will separate you from everyone else? Because for some of you look at this, you're like, well, this is a sales job. No, there are so many opportunities out there, and there's always those that are better than everyone else. And it seems like they're the ones who get promoted, and they're the ones who make a whole lot more money. And what separates them at the end of the day is usually not their technical skill set. It's not how good they can close. You know what pushes them through? You know what they use to make up the difference at the end of the day? We could use the word attitude and these cliches that are cheesy, like attitude determines altitude. But the reality is attitude is nothing more than an energetic level. And here's what happens. You can all sustain a certain level of energy until shit goes down. And when it does, you second guess yourself and you hop off and say, that was my reason. That's when I come down. I can handle this. I can handle that. I can't handle that. I can't handle the ex. I can't handle that other relationship. I can't handle this person. I can't handle oracles. I can't handle that type of client. I can't this. You have these rules. And those become trigger points for go off of what's working for you and come down. Now, by the way, it's not always bad stuff. Sometimes it's, honestly, I made enough money in the last 2 weeks. I'm good. Of course, verbally, I'll give lip service to really good goals. But you know what? If I'm honest with myself, I'm not showing up. I'm not putting in the extra. And as a result, I get to experience the roller coaster of life. Most of you here in this room are roller coaster riders. Some of you here are beasting yourself into someone that says, I'm done with the roller coaster and I only know how to hit higher and higher levels. And you know what the secret to doing that is? Simple. It's learning how to sustain higher energy. So here's the question. How do you sustain your highest level of energy? How do you do it?
It's finding what brings you to peak state, practicing it.
It's practice. How you get good at anything is by practicing, because you don't get what you want, you get what you practice. You get what you practice. So the question is, what are you practicing? So let's just talk for just a moment about how you actually rev your energy up to a level where everyone wants to say yes to you, where everyone wants to play, where everyone wants to be in your airspace. In the last 3 weeks, I've had 12 conversations with buddies and friends and strangers that have companies that have valuations between $20 million to over $100 million. Every single one of them is giving me significant equity in their company because of a conversation I had with them that took 20 minutes. Why would 12 human beings offer me millions of dollars based on a 20-minute conversation? Do you know why that's happening? Is it because I'm really good at ripping people off or convincing people to do why, what are they responding to? People respond to my energy. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I wasn't born this way. I went through 4.5 years of depression in my life. I've experienced the worst of energy. I've had suicidal thoughts. I knew once upon a time what the lamest life looked like because I was living it. And I also know what it feels like to hate your life because I hated my life. I come from all that. I get all that. So people look at me today and they're like, man, Krohn, you got all this amazing energy. How do you have that? Where does that come from? There's no energy drink, guys. There's no caffeine in this. Where does this energy come from? This is worth taking some notes on if you're not. Build your life around exercises that give energy boost to who you are. For example, where am I at 5 a.m. this morning? Why? Why am I at the gym pushing myself? By the way, I've had PBs for 12 weeks in a row. Every week I'm PBing something on my body, personal best. Why am I doing that? What am I going for?
High energy.
Because, by the way, it's the weirdest thing. In the morning, the harder I work my body, the more energy it sustains throughout the day. So, by the way, do I go to the gym for 20 minutes? Yeah, I did 8 minutes of cardio and 12 minutes of lifting. Do I do that? How long am I at the gym? Any guesses?
2 or 3 hours.
It is a minimum of 2 hours and sometimes 3 hours. Why so much time? Because in a 20-minute conversation, someone's going to write Kris Krohn a $10 million check. You can't produce that kind of result because you're lucky. No one is going to give their life work, a piece of their life work to you after a 20-minute conversation because you went to the gym. No, this is something that I've learned I got to sustain every single day no matter what. This weekend I had some stuff go down. I had some stuff go down I did not like. And when that stuff went down that I didn't like, I'm human like anyone else that has the choice to say that's it. I'm getting off of my indefinite, amazing high energy and I'm going to allow myself to tank. Do you know what it costs me when I do that?
Millions.
Just my next level. And at my level, it is millions of dollars. Because for me, usually millions of dollars are not made now over years or decades. They're made in moments. I have moments where I snap and money materializes. Like, kid you not right now, I know my plan inside the next 4 years of becoming a multi-billionaire. I know exactly how it's going down. I'm not confused anymore. But by the way, I finally know the how. Do you know when I first declared I was going to be a billionaire?
22 years old.
January 2009 in front of an audience of 200 people, and I held the very first dollar my father made in this country after immigrating here from Germany, held it over my head and I declared, I said, this is my business plan and here's how we're going to do it. In 2009, that was 13 years ago. I'm still not a billionaire, but I actually have a full blueprint on precisely how it's happening. A blueprint that I didn't have 6 months ago, but I've sustained being in the game because I believe that consistency in energy is more important than a result. Sometimes when people don't get the result they want, they say, oh, let off the gas and energetically tank. And this is what most people don't understand. When you are not getting the result that you want, most people energetically, do they hit the gas or the brakes? They hit the brakes. So by the way, they were like 3 inches from gold. And then they're doing what all humans do. They pump the brakes when they don't immediately see the fruit of their labor. Every week your commission schedule starts over, yes? However, how many of you know that you're going to make some money this week from work you did a month ago? How many of you know that pipeline is a part of what you do? If you were to judge your experience, what most people do is they would judge this job by Thursday morning. Take Zion last week. Saturday. You ended the week at what?
18.5.
At 18,500, but on Saturday you thought your volume might drop to what?
7.5.
7.5, and at one point you thought it might drop to 2.5, right? But you ended at 18. So by the way, is that a $3,600 check? Yeah, and that's because you didn't do what most people do come Thursday. They'll bust their hump on Monday, they'll bust their hump on Tuesday, they'll do it on Wednesday. By Thursday they say it's hump day, past hump day, it's over halfway through the week. So I would expect that my volume should reflect how much of my paycheck. I should have made half my money by now. And then if you haven't, energetically, guess what people do, Corey? Do they pump the gas or do they pump the brakes? They're weak human beings and they pump the brakes. You know why I call them weak? It's not a slander to say there's something wrong with you. It's that that's what you practiced. And remember, you get what you practice. When things are perceived to be hard, we hit the brakes. And when things are going better than expected, guess what we do? We hit the brakes. We are brake pushers. That's what humans are trained to do. So what we're really talking about here is not a secret to making $2,000, $3,000, $7,000 a week. That's a byproduct of really good energy. And by the way, curious, if you were pulling down thousands of dollars every single week, how many of you think that would help bring you to another level? How many of you think that would lead to more investing? How many of you think it would lead to more confidence? How many of you think it would lead to bigger opportunities? Those opportunities are available now, but you can't have them yet until you pay a price to learn how to sustain a certain energy. So here's the crazy thing. When the going gets tough, you got to learn how to hit the what? You got to hit the gas. This is what successful people do. By the way, every perceived failure, a successful person hits the what? And by the way, when they're having as much success as they thought they would have, guess what they hit? And by the way, when they're having way more success, way more than they envisioned, guess what they do? They freaking only know how to ride the gas pedal. They don't pump the brakes. So here's the training. You should become conscious and aware of the antecedent. That means the thing that creates a trigger. You should become aware of the thing that hits the trigger in your life where you want to hit the brakes. When my spouse says this to me, when my kid acts this way, when my boss uses this tone, when a prospect says these words, when I talk to this avatar of client, when I wake up not feeling well, when I got a tickle in my throat. We got all this programming. For example, when you put bad food in your body, did you know that you're already hitting the brakes? Did you know that when you should go to the gym on a particular morning that you plan to and you don't, is because you started the day riding the brakes? The problem isn't that you didn't go to the gym. The problem isn't that you ate a donut. The problem is that you dishonored yourself by hitting the brakes. It's not about the donut, and it's not about a $3,600 check. It's about who you're becoming, and I'm inviting you to recognize that the results that you seek in life come from learning how to get off of that darn brake and how to hit the gas. And especially when your perception says we're behind. That is when you floor it. That is when you go as hard as you can. So the question is, what should you be doing? What does it actually look like? These are some of the things that you could consider putting in your life. Number one, go to the gym. Go to the gym, and whatever you do, measure what you're doing and just make sure that it is more than the last time you went to the gym. I don't care what you're doing. By the way, if there's a type of nutrition that honors your body, most people will eat that way for days or weeks and then they'll come off and eat crap. So instead, ask yourself, how do I get momentum constantly on my side? Exercise, eat well. By the way, is it kind of stupid to think that that leads to making more money on the phones? Hello, the money you make on the phones is literally energy that you transmit through the phone no matter who you're talking to in the world. And energy is the way someone feels about you, and the way that you feel is always a representation of how you feel. So if you feel lethargic because of you went out to chuck-a-rama and up-chucked-a-rama 14 times, if you did that to yourself and you're like, all right, we're gonna get on and make some money this afternoon, I got news for you. The only people responding to you are unconscious low-hanging fruit, and you're relying on luck. But you could take the worst lead and make it the best lead if you're in a good energetic state. How many of you have experienced this? How many of you actually did some magic like, oh my gosh, there was no way that was going anywhere and that was an amazing outcome? Who's experienced that? That's what good energy does. It doesn't make people do what you want. But when you are showing up as your highest and best energetic self, you are calling forth for other people to do the exact same thing. Because you know what they're doing? This is called the mirror principle. You guys hear about this one? It's called the law of reciprocity. You heard of this one? It means that literally you are evoking something in other people based on how you show up. And trust me, you're all evoking something. So if you're in the office and you're kind of the Debbie Downer, oh yeah, things didn't go that well this weekend. Hopefully they look better tomorrow. How do you feel when like being around me when I give you that response? What does that elicit? What does it evoke in you? It evokes low energy. It says, do I want to stand up or do I want to sit down? Which is it? Do I want to sit down or do I want to lie down? Do I want to breathe deeply with a lot of life and air and oxygen, or do I want to breathe shallowly and conserve energy? You are trained, just human beings, we're trained to conserve. We're trained not to bring it.
We're trained to pump the brakes. We're trained to slow down. So get your exercise where and however it needs to be. By the way, it's not about a routine and going to the gym. It's about awakening amazing, masterful energy in your life. Number 2, get your diet right in a way that brings energy in. If you're not eating things that energize your body, that's a problem. Number 3, in your mind palace every day, you are practicing the ultimate attitude. Well, here's what the ultimate attitude feels like and sounds like. Everything goes my way. Oh my gosh, everything goes my way. Life isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. Today is a day where I'm gonna produce my biggest and best result that I ever have. Today, my relationships, I do my part so they can be at a rock star 10 out of 10. Today, I do my part that me and my body, we are on best terms with each other. Man, today I'm feeling great. And today I'm feeling like shit because something is hurting my body. Do you think I'm putting energy into that? Do you think I'm spreading that? Do you think I'm telling other people about that? No, I feel freaking great. I feel amazing. You know why? Because guess what it's about? You guys understand what the placebo effect is, right? 72% of the results that doctors evoke from you is based on garbage. It's just based on an idea. You meet with the doctor that says, well, you got 6 months left to live. And a weak-minded person will say, I better prepare for my funeral. Another person with amazing energy has a doctor say that, and you know what they walk out of that office saying? I'm freaking going to prove you wrong. Every green thing on God's green earth is going into my body and my system, and I'm gonna take care of my body. I'm gonna give it every possible nutrition, and I've got nothing but the idea up here that everything is going away, that I'm in premium, optimum health. Does that guarantee you'll be alive 6 months from now? No. What does it do? It increases your odds and it gives you the best chance. And by the way, we're all here about having the odds in our every single time, right? So you need to have an exercise mentally every morning where you are beasting your mind with the attitude that you want. You should decide, by the way, the attitude that you want to have in every given circumstance. You should, for example, how many of you have an avatar that you love talking to on the phone? Who's got an avatar they love talking to on the phone? They're like, oh, that's easy for me. I love connecting with that kind of person. We connect so well. Who's got one of those? What is it, Nick?
Now, number of people, because I hated that. And so I had to learn how to connect with individuals who knew a lot more than I did. And that's like a challenge to me that I like to take.
Yeah, in this industry, most of us hate talking to oracles. The fact finder that has lots of questions, by the way, those people are your biggest buyer. Except unless you mentally shut yourself down and say that that's actually hard or difficult, or you create some kind of story. So you should actually make a list of what are the things that happen every day that I like the least. What are the things, oh, I get so pissed when I see Utah drivers, I put my blinker on and they cut in front of me. Write that down. You should make a list of everything that gets under your skin, your pet peeves. How many of you here got some pet peeves? I want to hear a couple of pet peeves. What are some pet peeves? Give me some good ones.
Stupidity.
Stupidity is a pet peeve for you. What's a pet peeve?
Back to the Utah drivers, back where they won't let you cut in.
They won't let you cut in.
Get over.
Okay, pet peeves.
Negative people.
Negative people, pet peeves. Lazy. What else is a pet peeve? How rare common sense is. Excuses, right? Y'all can come up with a list of your pet peeves. By the way, how many of you know that you have lots of pet peeves? Here's what you do. Make a list of all your pet peeves and you're gonna put them in a special category called, these are my excuses to lose my good energy. Now, how's the fool? Is the fool the person that's triggering you, or is the fool the person who's reacting to that person? Dude, eliminate your pet peeves. It's for you. It has nothing to do with them. The whole game of forgiveness, by the way, never has anything to do with the other person. It always has to do with how you reflect on the value of your own soul. So, here's the game. Practice being in the best energetic space. Become aware of the ways that you unwind yourself energetically and stop it, right? Oh, if I get rejected this way, my energy goes down. Fix that. And then here's the last thing I would do. I would have triggers every day. Here's what I would do. I would set my alarm at a certain minute every hour to go off. That means that I'd have to, during 16 waking hours, I'd have to set my alarm how many times? 16 times. And guess what you're telling the alarm to remind you to do? Get into peak state. Everyone stand up. I want to show you something right now. Everyone stand up. I want to show you right now. Now you tell me real quick. Let's start with body language. Show me what peak state looks like with your body. Are your shoulders rolled forward in a slump, or are they held high and back?
High and back.
All right, you're breathing. Is it shallow or is it deep?
Deep.
Are you smiling or frowning? Yeah, so by the way, now what I want you to do before you make a sound, I just want you to breathe with good energy flowing in your body and coming out of your body. I want you to freaking breathe like you just got a phone call that $40 million deal just went down and you feeling like the boss. I want you to feel like the boss and just your breathing right now. Oh yeah, and everyone just say, I love my life. Everything goes my way.
Everything goes my way.
Now, by the way, what you're doing is you're practicing. You're doing what?
Practice.
And you get what you practice. So if you practice poorly, then what you'll get is what you practice. And we don't want poor results, which means every hour that alarm goes off, it is a reminder for you to say, oh my gosh, I get to get in the peak state. So here's what I want you to do. When that alarm gets off, I want you to stand up. I want you to breathe in really well, like you just scored that $40 million deal, and I want you to scream at the top lung, everything goes my way.
Everything goes my way.
Okay, so let's practice it. Everyone sit down. We get what we practice. The alarm is about to go off in 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding. Stand up. Everything goes my way. Now, by the way, give yourself a score right now. If 10 out of 10 represented the very human Hercules best that could have ever been, what number were you just right now? What number would you give yourself? Give yourself a 10 if you're like, there was no human way I could have improved that. Hands up in the air with your hands. Give yourself a score. What's your score?
On mine too. Let's see it.
Let's see it. Hands up. Give yourself a score. Okay, now I'm trying to give you a secret right now. I'm not saying that what I'm sharing with you is going to make you the most popular person or that people aren't going to think that you're kind of crazy or maybe an idiot. I'm just sharing with you right now that mastering good energy will set you apart from 99% of the world. And trust me, if 1% of the world controls over 92% of the entire wealth, you want to be the conscious human being that is in that top 1% club. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Have a seat. I'm going to try it again. Your alarm goes off in 3, 2, 1. And? Hands up, give yourself a score. Okay, now I see some 10s, but I want to ask you, are you telling me that there's no human possible way you could do it even 0.0001% better? Sit back down. Sit back down. You only get one more time. So by the way, make sure that you are doing nothing less other than practicing the best you've ever given. Because by the way, this is the oldest that you've ever been. This is the wisest that you've ever been. This is the most knowledgeable that you've ever been. Why not make this energetically the best moment of your life? Yes or yes? Yes. Yes or yes? Yes. Yes or yes? Yes. 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Deep breath in. And here we go. Now, energetically, how did that feel? Great. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. I'm inviting you 16 times a day to have an alarm go off every hour and to program yourself a reminder that in that moment, you are going to be judged by your highest and best self. And if you bring any less than a 10, you deserve to have someone in the office walk up to you and smack you in the face.
That's not an invite, Cody.
All right. I'm inviting you guys, to recognize that your results are never about focusing on them. It's always about focusing on your energy. And if you can become energetically the best human possible version of yourself, you will see in time record results that you have never produced in your entire life. How many of you in the next 90 days literally want to break every record you've ever had in your life? You can do that in your relationships, you can do that in your health, and you can do that in your finances. And it all comes down to one word. What is it? Energy. It all comes down to your personal energy. So listen, this isn't about me. This isn't about our culture. This isn't about the world out there. I'm telling you that if you're on a quest for excellence and you want the best life you can possibly have, then focus on a single thing. Sustaining the best energy. And then when shit goes down, I want you to take your foot off of the brakes and I want you to hit the what?
Gas.
Guys, go rock it this week. Crush it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kris Krohn!
Guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for letting me barge in. I know Marianne's got a lot of, go ahead and have a seat. I know Marianne's got a lot of other really important things to share with you guys. Thanks for having me here, team. Great to connect with you. And listen, this week, I'm not saying this week will be the best week of your life, but I'm saying the next 90 days will surpass anything you've done in your past. If for 90 days, you'll decide every day is your day to bring the very best energy that you ever have before. You get some momentum on that, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you.
Have a rock star week, guys. See ya. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me today on Have It All. Seriously, I hope that these 4 hacks end up helping you do something new with your life. In fact, I want to invite you. Hey, thank you so much for joining me on Have It All. I hope sincerely that those 4 hacks that I shared with you as you listen in on me sharing them with my team. I mean, think about that. Like, I'm the owner of this company. I'm the boss. I want the best out of my people. I want the best for my people. I, in turn, want the very best for you. Those 4 hacks, implement. In fact, experiment. Just take the next week of your life and start implementing the 4 practices that I shared with you. And at the end of the week, some of you may have experienced your results shift, but one thing I can guarantee, you're going to be happier. You're going to be more fulfilled. You're going to feel more on top. So good luck, my friends, in living your Have It All life.